Hello guys, my name is Gerald Musara, a small-scale pig producer in Zimbabwe. In today's video, I want to talk about something that many farmers struggle with, that is weaning. Like I have said before in my previous videos, weaning is not an event. That's where we make the biggest mistakes. Weaning should be treated as a process. So before I talk about the process of weaning, I think I have to explain a little bit on how the weaning process is done in terms of the dynamics, the principles of the basic rules that one has to abide to for them to enjoy a successful weaning. So the first thing we need to appreciate is that the piglets that you are working with or that you are planning to wean, they have to reach a minimum of 7 kgs. Why 7 kgs? Because they are now able to feed. That's number one. Number two, they are now able to balance between milk and solid feed. So chances of post-weaning mortalities are very low. So I work with basically two principles. Number one being you should never wean piglets that are weak or that are sick. That is my number one rule. Why? Because the moment you wean them when they are showing signs or symptoms of being sick, chances are so high the situation is going to worsen soon after weaning. Because you need to understand, like I said earlier, the dynamics of weaning. Number one, your pigs, they have to cope with the 3 kinds of stresses. One, the stress of losing their mother, that's number two. Then that's number one. Number two, the stress of changing the environment, because normally we wean in batches. So they have to cope with that stress. Then number three, they have to cope with the stress of relying on solid feeds alone. So you have to make sure that your pigs, they are not sick or they are not showing any signs or symptoms of being ill. That's my golden rule when it comes to weaning. Then the number two thing you need to understand is the scientific part of weaning. I'm very sorry tombotokera na ku class kuti tikwanise kunzwisisa zvinenge zvichiitika. You need to understand the enzymes involved in digestion of be it of feed or milk. So the piglets, when they are between 0 to 7 days old, there is what we call the lactase enzyme, which helps in the digestion of milk or of liquids. So lactase by nature does not help in the digestion of solid feeds. So your pig will be producing that lactase enzyme in large amounts. Then when you introduce feed at day 4 or day 6, the body starts now to produce what is called the amylase enzyme. The amylase enzyme by nature, it is that enzyme that helps in the digestion of solid feeds, but it does not digest the liquids. So for you to wean your pigs, you have to make sure that there is a balance between the lactase and amylase enzymes. So by the time you say that you now want to wean your piglets, the piglets' body should be able to produce more amylase than lactase enzyme. That is the basic part of it. But panenya aya now the app. Pekuti, how do you ensure that now your pig is now able to produce more amylase than lactase? Number one, you have to appreciate, like I said, weaning is a process. So you have to train those piglets, number one, to look for water, so that the water intake levels are at least reasonable enough for the piglets to survive after weaning. Then you have to train those piglets to consume reasonable amounts of solid feeds, so that when you wean them off, they don't expose to that kind of stress levels that will affect you. So that process normally it takes 2 to 3 weeks. I will explain the process in the next few minutes. Number one, when you know that you are going to wean your pigs at a specific date, you need to prepare your piglets for weaning. How do you do that? You need to improve the immunity, or you need to boost the immunity of your pigs first. How do you do that? Number one, you inject multivitamins. Multivitamins will help you to boost the appetite, number one, of your piglets. Then it also helps in availing the required minerals or nutrients. So in the end, your pigs will be fully prepared for weaning. The system itself is producing enough amino acids to help the body increase its appetite. That's one thing. Then the other thing, you need to prepare for scouring, because the moment you wean, stress levels by nature, they cause scouring. Scouring simply means diarrhea in pigs. So you need to prepare the body to fight that scouring. How do you do that? 3 days before weaning, you have to make sure that you have put your piglets on a 3-day course of a short-act antibiotic. Normally, I prefer an oral antibiotic because the pigs are not subjected to injection stress. So it helps a lot than injection. But in situations where you have no oral, yes, you can do injectable antibiotics. So you do that before what? Before weaning. Then the second part of the weaning process is to wean off the mothers from the piglets. You take off the mothers from the pens, then you leave the piglets in those pens. How does it help? It helps to minimize the levels of stresses. Now they only have to cope with the stress of losing their mother, but when it comes to the environment, they are already familiar with that environment, so they are not stressed as much. You leave the piglets for at least 3 to 4 days in that pen. But like I said earlier, you have to make sure that your pigs are able to consume at least 350 grams of feed and at least 500 ml of water per day before you actually wean those piglets. So it now goes back to the importance of the creep area. The creep area is that small section where we separate our pigs so that they get trained. They get trained on alternative heat rather than relying on the heat that is produced by the mother, and that is also the area which we use to train the piglets for feed. So the creep area is very important. When resources are permitting, you should make sure that you build a proper farrowing house. But if resources are not permitting, yes, you can work around with it, but the most important thing is for you to make sure that your pigs, before weaning, they are able to consume at least 350 grams of feed on a daily basis and able to drink at least 500 ml of water a day. That is the second part of the weaning process. Then we go to the final part of the weaning process, where you now group the pigs by gender or by body size. There is also that extra carefulness that we need to be sure of, where we wean also the pigs by body condition. Those that are showing signs of a ragged skin or mineral deficiency, we place them in a specific group. Those outliers are the ones that grows too fast and the ones that are lagging behind, we group them. So a group of weaned pigs will give us 3 batches. Normally that's how it works. So grouping the pigs by size is very important. Why? Because it allows the pigs to create that competition for feed, which eventually boosts the feed intake. So you group piglets from one sow, you take them and mix them with another batch from another sow. That alone encourages competition, which is very critical for piglets to grow. You should also remember that by nature pigs are competitive animals, but you should group them in sizes that do not allow excessive competition. Once they are left to compete, especially for space, you are going to have challenges of bullying and scavenging. The weaker piglets, or the ones that could have been bullied, would never recover. Why? Because the moment they try to feed, they are bullied off the feed, so they lose weight in that regard. So you need to make sure that you group by body size. Then you make an effort. 2 days after weaning is very critical. Why? Because that's where you have to manage your weaned piglets. You have to make sure that bullies are put in one pen. That will set the natural order by itself. Then the weaker pigs are also put in one pen, so that they are given that extra chance to gain meaningful weights, so that they catch up with the rest of the group. So there is a situation where you discover that your pigs they start losing weight soon after weaning. That alone is a signal of a poor weaning strategy. You need to appreciate that weaning is a process. So the moment you discover that, you have to improve not only the feed intake levels, but also the water intake levels. You should never allow your weaned pigs to suffer from dehydration or to get into that situation of inappetence. Inappetence is loss of feed, loss of appetite on water and feed. That is a very critical situation. Once your pigs reach that stage, chances of them recovering are so low. 1 week of inappetence will result in almost a month of trying to recover from the weight losses that could have happened at that time. So you need to make sure that you monitor that. So the first 3 days after weaning, they are very critical. You need to manage those 3 days so that your piglets, they relax, then they are able to adjust to the new environment. Then there are some other factors that I feel like they are very important, and we should talk about that, is to monitor the feed intake. How do you monitor the feed intake? You have to make sure that you weigh your feed on a daily basis. That allows you to calculate or to compare the growth rate against the feed intake, because by nature the pigs between 1 week old and 12 weeks old, they have that ability to gain at least 1 kg of body weight after consuming 1 kg of feed. So you need to monitor that, and by weighing your feed daily, it helps you to create that feed intake chart, which can actually help to identify problem areas when it comes to your desired growth rate. Then you also need to weigh your pigs after every 7 days. By nature, you should have a minimum of 5 kgs body weight gain in 1 week, or a maximum of 10 kg body weight. It now goes back to your genetics or to how you have handled or managed your post-weaning period. It's a very critical, but we need to maximize on that 10-week period. It's very critical because a pig will have that ability to gain 1 kg of what? Of body weight. So the best way now to do that is to increase intake. How do you increase feed intake? Number one, you can work with amino boosts, or you can add appetizers to your feeds. Once you add appetizers are those substances that aid taste and flavor. Once you do that, the pigs will be forced to consume more. The more they consume more, the more they gain more. That is the whole idea. I almost forgot about one thing. You should keep your pigs on creep feed soon after weaning. We only change to winner meal after 18 kgs of body weight. Why? Creep feed, it has got those substances that are added by feed manufacturers that allow the body to produce more antibodies, so that the pigs are being trained gradually to improve their immune system on their own. Mind you, for the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so, they have been relying on the antibodies that could have been provided by the mother through lactation. So creep feed allows the piglets to improve or to boost their immune system gradually. So you change it to winner meal. you need to understand the dynamics of feeds. I touched on it before when we were doing feed manipulation. Winner meal, we are just pumping in fats, the same as grower feed, we are just pumping in fats and more proteins. So we are focusing on growth rate. But when it comes to creep feed is not more about growth rate, it's about survival and immunity. You need to master that. So you only change from creep feed to winner meal when your piglets or your weaned pigs have reached at least 18 kgs of body weight. Then you change to grower feed when your pigs have reached at least 25 kgs of body weight. That will not disturb the growth rates of the pigs. We need to maximize on the ability to gain 1 kg of body weight between 1 week to 12 weeks. That period is very critical for you to attain or to achieve that 95 live weight at 21 weeks of age. So, like I said, we need to appreciate that winning is not an event. The moment you just win off your pigs, take off the mothers, group by gender, group by size or by body weight, you are making a mistake. It has to be gradual. So normally winning by nature, it takes 2 weeks. Between 7 to 15 days, you could have completed your winning process. Once you do that, you will not have challenges of inappetence, number one. You will not have challenges on dehydration, or you will not have those problems related to pig health. Why? Because you have made sure that you have weaned off healthy piglets, that you have got their immunity boosted. Then you have weaned piglets that are 7 kgs minimum body weight. Then you have weaned piglets that are now able to consume a minimum of 350 grams per day. That is how you successfully wean your pigs. Let's try that. Then you give me your feedback after 15 days. I'm looking forward to your feedback, guys. It means a lot, and it also helps me to create the right topics for us to discuss and engage on. So thank you guys for your time. Let's keep producing, let's keep farming, and remember, you can never go wrong with pig farming. Cheers.